What's going on YouTube? Burlington Northern HO fan here. And I know this is a bit of a different setting for the beginning of a video, but I've got a lot to explain. This video is going to have a lot of stuff in it. It's going to have stuff from my trip to Omaha over the weekend. It's going to have stuff from when I went to Rochelle to see the big boy. And what the main point of this video is going to be is building this Walthers Pella depot. So that's the main focus of this video, but I will be inserting clips from other parts of my trips that I've done over the past couple of weekends. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so now you see my hands in the box. First thing we're going to start with is this kit, and obviously you can tell we're in my garage, so I'm going to be probably, if you couldn't tell, painting. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to take out these pieces. I did not think about the roof. I'm going to have to go back to the store and get paint for the roof because I do not want it to be that color. But we're going to be painting this piece, and we're going to be painting all our building pieces here. And this time, I'm going to actually use the correct tools because I got roasted in the comments for that the last time I built a kit. So I'm going to dig everything we need out of this case, and we'll paint it. Okay, we've got all the, I forgot what they're called. I got all the pieces that we're going to have to paint out of the kit, besides the roof, obviously. But we've got all the pieces that I'm going to paint out of the kit. Now I just got to grab the right tool to cut these out of the sprues. See, I remember the name. Okay, so I've got all the pieces out now. I used the scissors, a small metal scissors, to cut them out. That way I didn't break any of the plastic. So we're good with that. But now, I'm going to show you what paint I'm going to use. I'm going to use, wherever I put it, yes, over here. I'm going to use this flat gray for the brick that goes for the platform. And I'm going to use this color brown, because this brown, it's somewhat close to this brown. It's a brownish red. It's somewhat close to this, but it's not going to be the same color, obviously, as this. I just don't want these two to be the same color. So we're going to start with the bigger piece first. I'm going to shake it up. Okay. See how that spray comes out? Yeah, I do like that. Alright. And then we're just going to go, ham at it. Probably going to have to give it a couple of coats. You don't want to cover up the brickwork, obviously. So we don't want to paint it too hard. But that looks pretty good for this piece. Might have to come back and coat this again. But let's move on to this. So now we're on to the brown. So let me move this one over here. And this is going to be kind of the same thing. We're going to shake it up. This is a pretty... a little further away. This piece turned flipped over. I think next time I would recommend, for myself actually, to get something to tack this down with. Okay. That should be that for those pieces. And those are the starting pieces anyway. So we will start with that. And we'll go from there. Alright, so here's all the other pieces. We got some more pieces over here that need to be painted in the brownish red. We've got these two pieces that need to be painted. I chose this color. It's a green color, but it's not as light and ugly as that green. And then I need I need a white for these pieces. I'm just going to spray them while they're connected to the sprues because it'd be easier that way. But anyway, we're going to start with the roof first. I'm going to move this over here. Since we don't have that color at the moment, I'll probably go back to the store after I paint these. And we'll grab our green. Let's check it out. Alright, and we'll see how that looks. I do like that green. This building, I'm also gonna weather it with my airbrush. You guys may have seen that in a different video. But I think this is a good darker green, and I think that'll look better. Now we're gonna paint the chimney pieces. I'm gonna spray this way far away. I'm gonna shake it up. All right, and we're gonna. Because these pieces need to be the same color as the brick for the actual walls of the building. So that should be good. That should be good. Now I am going to go to the store and grab a can of white. Okay, I'm back from the store. I dropped the can. So I have two colors. I have a perfect gray, which is a little bit of a very light gray, and then I have white. They're both matte colors. I got both of them because I couldn't really decide if I wanted to go a little darker, or gray or white. So I'm going to spray both of them, and I'm going to see which one I like better. All right, we'll start with the gray first. Well, the gray looks nice. Let's try the white. I think I'm going to go for the gray. So we're just going to take this with the sprue and everything. We're just going to paint the whole. We're just going to paint the sprue because it's easier to paint little pieces like this way. And then when that dries, I can flip it over and paint the other side. But let's start building it, shall we? We've got most of the pieces we need, so let's start building it. Okay, now that we're back on the workbench, we could go through what's actually in this box. So we'll start with the instructions here real quick. So here's a little history on the actual building. And here's the the stuff about the gluing the windows. And all that. So, but that's pretty much what I wanted to show is that part of it. And the rest of it shows us how to build it. Sorry about that. I'm going to go over these instructions real quick, read them, and then we'll start building. Most likely, I have a feeling we're going to be starting with the doors and windows. Also, before I get too far, here's all the different signs and locations that they offer for you for the station itself, with Pella being the actual prototypical name of the actual trade station, the one that's in Pella, Iowa. So, I haven't decided which one I'm going to go for yet, because my town that I'm building is just going to be kind of it's not prototypical, really. It's not a real town, so, and these are all real town names, so, but we'll see what we do. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all these doors and window frames out of the sprues with my nippers here. So let me do that off camera real quick. Also, here is our glass panes. So we'll put those on when we are told to. Alright, we've got all the windows and door pieces out of the sprues. And it looks like in the instructions it wants us to put these pieces on the walls first, and then after we put these pieces on the wall, we put the glass behind it, which makes a lot of sense. So in order to do that and get them to stay, I'm going to use this Tester's plastic non-toxic cement, and we should be able to glue these to the plastic, because I want to use this plastic cement because it'll be it'll work better than the super glue, hopefully. I'm hoping. So this is what we're going to use. So give me 1 second. Alright, we've got it open. Make sure we put these doors on the right spot. Looks like this is going to be the correct place to put it. Don't need to put too much, because what this does is it melts the plastic to form a good bond. So we'll just do that. Don't need that much, just enough, and it'll look perfect. So let's not do what I just did. This is the first time I've used this stuff, so we're just gonna hold that in place like that, and that should be good. Now I believe this is our next door right here. So we'll do that one as well. Okay. That door is in place. We'll move that piece over there. And we'll just keep doing it and gluing these pieces in. Okay, just like that. Very simple, very easy. Some of them actually clip into place, and you just kind of put the cement down there, and it'll sit perfect in its spot. So honestly, it was not that hard to build this. So, well, build this part at least. So we're gonna let these dry. And then we will move on to putting the back glass and the stained glass in. And then we can start building the actual building. And if I haven't showed it before, I'm going to show real quick where this building is going to go on the layout. Alright, so this is where the building is going to go on the layout. And the station is going to be built around, or the station is going to be the start of the city that's going to be on this side of the layout, along with the grain all over there. So yeah. Anyway, this is about the area where this building is going to be built, or where this building is going to be put. And then we're going to work from this backwards when we're building our city. So I'm going to start, after I build the building, I'm going to get this to be flush and make it look nice and actually look like that. And then I'll build the parking lot and then all of that, and so on and so forth. So that's the plan. Let's let the plastic cement dry, and then we'll move on to putting the glass in. All right, it is now dry and it looks fantastic. Look at that. Looks perfect. So now we need to cut the black backing pieces out. We need to cut the stained glass pieces out. And we need to take our pieces of glass, which are over here in the box, right here, and we need to cut them free. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to cut these guys free, and then we'll move from there. Okay, now we have all our windows out. A little bit of a different thing that I did with this because of the way that they were connected. I ended up scoring the plastic with the knife and then bending it and breaking it off. And it made it come off a lot better than it would have if I tried using my nippers. So now let's get these pieces glued on to the actual parts themselves, which should be simple enough. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, looking at the holes here, the holes will be dropped into place where they need to go. So if we look at this piece here, this piece will most likely drop into this piece. Give me 1 second. All right, so looking like what it looks like here, it looks like I can just clip these windows into place and they will stay where they need to be. Just like that, like this one here. Okay, so let's continue with moving on to the other pieces. Okay, all our panes of glass are in, except I only had issues with 2 of the pieces of glass, but that's okay because it prototypically looks like that maybe they got a crack in the window. So it's an older building, it'll make sense that it might have a crack in the window. So I'm okay with it. Anyway, now we work on getting these pieces out, and we glue these pieces to the windows now. So let me get these pieces cut out, and then we'll glue these to the windows. All right, so the glass pieces are in. I decided to forego the shades, but the stained glass, I think, looks great. All I did was I took some super glue, and I just dabbed it, the slightest dab of super glue. And that would be plenty enough to get these pieces of paper to stick to the window. So I could paint the windowsills right now before I start building the building, but I think I'm going to do that after I build it, because I'm kind of anxious to start building it. So I'm going to probably use a very fine brush to paint the windowsills white, just like the other pieces that I painted white. So let's start putting this thing together, shall we? Alright, so the instructions tell us to start with the baggage wall. Nope, I am wrong. They tell us to start from left to right. So that is with this piece right here. And we're just going to grab our plastic cement again, and we're going to just dab it. Okay, so the first wall is done. I ended up using a very, very tiny amount of super glue instead of the plastic cement to hold the pieces down, because the cement was not wanting to hold them in place. So I ended up using super glue because it actually stayed in place. Again, I used this super gel Loctite super glue, and it's holding it pretty good in place right there. So I'm going to keep building the outside wall, and we'll go from there. Okay, so the structure of the building is built right here. It looked pretty good. It's all put together nicely. It went together okay. I had to use super glue on most of it to keep it to stay together and not want to pull away from each other, but it looks pretty good. I think also what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep the roof from being glued down, because I want to maybe eventually light it and put an interior in it, because I could definitely do that with this building. So anyway, that part's done, and as you can see back here, I put all the details on the roof, and I glued them down just like that. Looks pretty good. So now we need to add these little white pieces for the roof support, which are these pieces that we painted. So I will cut all these pieces out and then I will get back to you. All right, just like that, the station is done. You can see the roof supports are there. Now, I will say the worst part I think I had to come across on this build was the roof supports themselves, actually. But it wasn't that difficult. But it wasn't easy. So, it's an okay kit. It wasn't that hard to build. So, I'm happy with how it turned out. I'm most likely going to weather it and make it look a little dirtier, along with, like, the engine house building. So, I'm also going to leave the roof not glued because I have a feeling that I'm probably going to want to put an interior in this building. Just because it's the one that you're going to see right up front and center when you sit down and look at the layout. So, and you can definitely see through the windows there. And I'll probably also make it a lighted building, because why not? It's, you know, right up in front. It's look the most nicest out of most of the buildings. So, but yeah, let's get a passenger train and we'll stop at the station real quick. All right, we have our Burlington Zephyr set here. Let's get it stopped at the station. I'm not good at stopping passenger trains. But anyway, we've got our passenger train here at the station. It's unloading its people and loading people. And, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video of me, you know, trial and error building this building. This is the first actual building that I've built. So, I think it's, for a first time, I think I did pretty well. But, anyway, that's going to be the end of this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace. Alright, so now this is the part of the video where I will show you guys what I did over the past couple of weeks. This is when I went to go see 4014, the big boy, at Global 3 in Rochelle, Illinois. So I'm shooting some shots of the Global 3 intermodal yard at the moment. And now I am getting closer to the locomotive and its cars, and I'm zooming in on the observation car at the back of the set. And now I'm going to go through all the cars and I'll show you what they look like as I walk closer and closer to the locomotive. It was at this moment when I realized that I was like, wow, it would be so cool to ride one of these passenger cars with the 4014 across the country. But we can't do that, so. Anyway, up there, we're getting very close to the locomotive now. We've got a couple more cars to go, but these passenger cars look amazing from the Union Pacific, so they're pretty cool. Alright, now we're walking up to the helper diesel, number 4015, and SD70M. I think it's hilarious that they numbered it 4015 to match the big boy. But, yeah, we're almost near the front now. And this is the part where I realized that I was completely wrong because I thought that this thing was going to be sitting cold, but indeed it was sitting hot. It was actually making some steam and sitting there warm, which was pretty crazy to me. And
and they did end up blowing the whistle a little later.
Yeah, just kidding.
This locomotive just has a huge presence to it. It's just an awesome locomotive to see. It's not the first time I've seen it. I did see it the first time when it went through Rochelle in, I believe, 2019. But it's still awesome to see it again. It's an awesome locomotive. And here I am at the front of the locomotive, and you can see the big boy written on the smoke box door of the locomotive. It's just so cool.
I'm afraid that's a question I can't answer. Just talk to one of the operators. Give it more flame and water flame. First cleaner. Yeah. Now a world of us
But otherwise, this is the washout. So when the water's boil around, take those plugs out.
Like I said before, it was making some steam, so I was very surprised. But it wasn't making that much steam. It was just making enough to blow the whistle and just going through its paces. And for anybody that didn't know, we can see the builder's plate here. Big boys were built by Alco, so us Alco fans can have that one.
Get up.
So at this point, I was able to get as close as I could get to the locomotive. I got up to the railing, I pushed my way through, but you'll see in a couple minutes here that the locomotive jump scared me, and I almost didn't record what happened. So you're about to hear 4014 blower whistle. I was not ready for it, and I did not record all of it, but man, is that thing loud. So at this point, we're jumping across states here, and we're in Shelby, Iowa. It's a very small town on the Nebraska side of Iowa, where a lot of my family grew up, and I'm filming a caboose that they have in town, in that little town there. This caboose used to be a Burlington Northern caboose when I was a little kid. It got repainted to Rock Island because Rock Island did service Shelby when they were around. So I was climbing around the caboose a little bit. It's a very, very cool caboose. It looks pretty beat up, though. I'm not gonna lie. So now I'm on the platform of the caboose. I'm gonna try to film and see if I can see anything in there. I couldn't see anything at first, but if you pause the video, you can kind of see a Burlington Northern first aid kit on the wall of the caboose. In the right-hand side of the caboose there. Anyway, yes, I'm a little kid. I had to mess with the handbrake. And in this part, you're going to see a little bit of the station of Shelby that was originally used back then by the Rock Island. Naturally, if I'm there, the Nebraska side of Iowa, I'm gonna go to Omaha. So here I am climbing up the steps, and you can see a little bit of the industrial side of Omaha here as I walk up the steps. Right here, they have a very cool setup for the Transcontinental Railroad from Union Pacific. And as I keep walking up the steps, we will see the biggest diesel locomotive ever built and the biggest steam locomotive ever built. So much is what Union Pacific says, but it's still pretty cool seeing these two beasts next to each other. It's also pretty cool seeing a DD-40AX in better condition than the one that's at the train museum in Union, Illinois. And here we see 4014's sister, 4023. Unfortunately, she's not in as good of shape as 4014 is, but she still looks pretty good for how long she's been sitting. So, here's a closer shot of the cab of the locomotive. Unfortunately, it's locked up, so nobody's going in there, but it's still pretty cool.
Go on it. It's locked up. What is this?
Another cool thing about this park is that 6900 is the first DD-40AX ever built. So it is pretty cool that it has been preserved, and it is, unfortunately it's outside, but it is still pretty cool that the first unit in the class was actually preserved. And standing at the front of the park, you could probably hear it. This is a great overview of I-80 as it goes into Iowa from Omaha. It's actually really nice. It looks really neat. And with that, guys, this is going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a mixed match of a lot of things, but this is pretty much what I've been doing over the past couple of weeks. And I just shot little bits of video, and I just wanted to add it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care, and peace.